Hello everyone, this is Madhavi Karamudi, Assistant Professor in CSC Department. In this lecture, I will concentrate on control structures in C language. So first of all, control structure means it is one of the basic entity of a structured programming language. As we know that C is one of the structured programming language. So these control structures are used to alter the flow of execution of the program. So why do we need to alter the program flow is the reason is decision making. So in our life, we may be given with a set of options like doing electronics or doing computer science or doing mechanical engineering. Definitely, we do make a decision by analyzing the certain conditions like based on our interest or scope of job opportunities on that particular course, we will take some decisions. So with that decisions, we may or we alter the flow of our life's direction, right? This is exactly what happens in a programming languages also. So using these control structures, we can alter the direction of the program flow. So in C language, there are three types of control structures available for controlling the flow of execution. One is selection structure or decision making structure. Second one is loop structure or iterative statements. Third category is jump statements. Let us see what are the statements that comes under this all these three categories. First of all, if statement. There are a lot of flavors of if statements are available. So all the flavors of if statement and switch statement comes under decision making statements. And if you come into iterative statements, when we need to go for iterative statements is, for example, if you want to execute some set of statements repeatedly, if there is a situation like that, we need to go for iterative statements. By using while loop, do while and for statements, we'll execute those set of statements repeatedly. So these are the statements that comes under iterative statements. Now third category is jump statements. Break, continue, go to. These three statements comes under jump statements. So in this lecture, I'll completely concentrate on decision making statements. In the next sessions, I'll concentrate on iterative and jump statements. Okay. See, first of all, what is a selection structure or a decision making statement? So selection structures are also called as a decision making statements or decision making structures, and then branch the program flow based upon the outcome of the decision making. Let us see one simple example or diagram. Okay, suppose here we are there is a need of taking the decision. Okay, suppose if this decision is true, or if this condition is true, if you want to execute some set of actions, or if you want to perform some action, then we'll choose this path and we'll do the action. Okay, suppose if you want to choose this path, then we'll take this path and we'll do this particular action. Finally, whatever path it is, finally we need to reach the end. So this is the end point. So from this point or from this point, we may reach the exit point. So here, based upon the conditions, we will select or we will decide to go this side or this side to reach the destination. So these kind of situations, we are calling it as decision-making situations. So see the statements that comes under selection structure or decision-making structure is if statement, if else statement, or switch statements. So this if statement, simple if statement is used for taking only one decision. If else statement is used for taking two-way decisions. Okay, it is possible to select the path from two options. So switch statement is a multi-way selection statement. So from the available multiple paths, we can select any one of the path, right? Let us see one by one all these statements. So first we'll see the simple if statement. So when we need to execute a block of statement, only one block of statement, when a given condition is true, when we in that situation we use simple if statement. Okay, so see this diagram. Suppose here I have written one condition. I want to execute this set of block of statements if that condition is true, right? Only if this condition is true, I want to execute this block of statements. Then we need to use this if statement. Suppose if this condition is false, then this set of statements will not be executed. Simply this block will be skipped by the compiler. Okay, so whatever, if this condition is false, whatever conditions you have written or whatever statements you have written after that block, those statements will be executed. This block will be skipped, right? So see the syntax of this simple if statement. If, we'll use the keyword if, followed by the expression. Here we will write one condition with the expression. So followed by curly braces. Between these curly braces, we'll write the block of C statements that you want to execute whenever that condition is true. Okay, this is the syntax of the if statement, simple if statement. See one simple example on this, how the decision statement will be executed. So here, inside the main method, I have initialized the x value as 20 and y value as 22. Now I want to execute this statement whenever this condition is true. So here, what is the condition? If x is less than y, then execute this block of statements. Otherwise, skip this block of statements, right? Now, what is the x value? 20. What is the y value? 22. So 20 is less than 22. Condition is true. If this condition is true, we will enter into this block. Then we will print the variable x is less than y. Just assume that if x value is 50, y value is 22. In that case, here this condition fails. This condition returns false. Okay, in that situation, this block will be simply skipped and will come out of that block and will execute the next statement, whatever you have written after that block, right? So this is about simple if statement. Now coming to the second flavor of if statement is if-else statement. So this if-else statement, every if statement may have an optional else block like this. Okay, so when we'll use this if-else statement is, if the condition is true, if you want to execute some block of statements. If the condition is false, if you execute another block of statements. Okay, so then we need to go for if-else statement. Okay, right? Now see the execution process for this. Suppose if the test expression is evaluated to true, then the statements inside this if block will be executed. Okay, so the statements inside the body of the else block will be skipped from the execution. If this condition is true, only this block will be executed. This block will be simply skipped. Suppose if the test expression is, this condition is evaluated to false, then only else block statements will be executed. This if block statements will be skipped, right? So this is about if else. See the syntax of the if else, how to write the if else in the program. With the two keywords if, here we need to write test condition followed by block of statements. So this block of statements will be executed only the condition is true. If this condition evaluates to false, then else block will be executed, right? So here no need to write any condition, because if this condition is true, if block will be executed. Whenever this condition fails, automatically will come to the else block. So here no need to check the condition, right? So that else block will be executed. Now see the example program for this. Now in this program, I want to check whether the user entered number is even number or not, right? User entered number is even number or not. So when the number is said to be even, if that number is divisible by 2, then that number is said to be even, right? Just try to implement that logic in the program. So here, as usual, execution starts from the main method. Inside the main method, I am taking one variable with the name number. Initially, I am initializing that number with the 0, right? Here I am asking the user to enter some value in the number variable. Okay, Just assume that here the user has entered 4. User has entered 4. Okay. So here we will check the condition, whether that number is divisible by 2 or not. If that number is divisible by 2, that is even. If that is not divisible by 2, that is odd. Okay. If it is divisible by 2 means, if it returns remainder as 0, then it is even. So with that logic, I am checking the condition here. If the user entered number is divisible by 2, if that remainder is 0, that indicates that number is even. If that is not divisible by 2, that means if this condition fails, then we need to print that that number is odd, right? So here I have written this condition inside the if block. If this condition is true, then this set of statements will be executed. Because of that, it will print even or even. Suppose if this condition is false, suppose if the user entered number is 5. So in that case, this condition fails. So we'll automatically skip this block, then we'll come to the else condition. So here it will print the message like number is odd. Okay. So if there is a situation like if you have two paths, if you want to execute one path if the condition is true, if you want to execute another path if the condition is fail, then we will use if else statements. Let me execute this program once for your understanding sake. So here I am copying this program, same program. I am running the program with online compiler itself. See the result, enter the number. Initially I have entered the number as 4, right? As we know that 4 is divisible by 2. So it is printing the message like number is even. Number is even. So how it is displaying that value, number is even? That is just because of this if condition, right? Now see, once again I am executing that program. This time I am entering the number as 7. Okay. So 7 is odd. 7 is odd. That means here this condition is failing. If that condition fails, automatically else block will be executed, right? So else block will be executed. Because of this, it is displaying that number is odd. So this is about the if else statements. Now come to the next flavor of next statement, if else ladder statement. If else ladder statement means if else statement executes two different codes depending upon whether the test expression is true or false. Sometimes a choice has to be made from more than two possibilities. Okay, in case of if else statement, we'll take the decision based upon two conditions, based upon true or false. Suppose if you have a situation like if you want to make the decisions from more than two possibilities, then we need to go for if else ladder statement. Let's see the simple diagram. Okay, suppose here you have written one condition. If this condition is true, if you want to execute the body of the if you want to execute some set of statements. Suppose if this condition is false, if you want to check one more condition, then that condition will be verified. Again, if this condition is true, we'll execute one block of statements. If this condition is false, we'll go to the another block. In that case, if you want to take one more decision, when that condition is fail, okay. So at this position, again, if that condition is true, we'll execute one block of statements. If that condition is false, we'll execute another block of statements. Like this, if there are multiple choices or if there are more than two possibilities of checking the conditions, then we need to go for if else ladder. Okay. So this if else ladder allows you to check between multiple test expressions and executes different statements. Let me explain the syntax of this if else ladder. First, if we'll write the test condition. If this test condition is true, then fine, this block will be executed. Okay. Else, That means if this is fails, then we'll check one more condition. Then based on that, it will, if it is true, it will enter into this block. If this is false, then we'll go to the next statement. Then again here we'll check the condition. If this is true, we'll enter into this block. If this is false, we'll go to the next block. All right. So if this condition is true, we need to make again all these decisions. If this condition is false, finally we'll come to the else block. Okay. So see an example program for this. Suppose if you want to calculate, if you want to find the largest of three numbers, So here I have taken three numbers, n1, n2, n3. I want to find out the largest of these three numbers. Okay. Here I am asking the user to enter those three numbers. Suppose if first number is greater than or equal to second number, and first number is greater than or equal to third number, then which will be the greatest? First number will be the greatest. So I am printing, if this condition is true, I want to print first number is largest. Okay. Else if n2 is greater than, second number is greater than n2 and second number is greater than n3. In that case, second number will be the greatest number, right? If these two conditions fails, that means if n1 is not greater than n1, n2 and n3, and n2 is not greater than n1 and n2, n3, then we'll come to this else block. So when this else block will be executed, whenever these two conditions, all the above else if blocks are failed, then we'll come to the else block. So in the else block, we are saying that if those two conditions are failing means n3 is the largest number, right? So let me explain this program with, show you the output of this program. Okay. So here we are taking two-way decisions. First, we are taking the decision here, whether we are checking whether n1 is greater than n2 and n3 or not. If it is greater, this statement will be printed, n1 is greater. If it is not, we'll check, we are checking one more condition, whether n2 is greater than n1 or n3. If it is true, if this condition is true, n2 will be printed as a largest. If both these two conditions fails, then we'll come to the else block. In that else block, we are printing that n3 is greater, right? So this is the simple example for writing multiple conditions using if-else if ladder. See the output. Here enter three numbers. Now I am entering 45, 23 and 10, right? So 45 is the largest number, right? So here which condition is satisfied? 45 is the n1. n1 is greater than 23, n2. And n1 45 is greater than 10. So it is printing. If this condition is true, we are printing that result by using this printf statement. If this condition fails, then only we'll go to the else if, right? If this condition is satisfied, no need to execute the remaining statements. Automatically, all these statements will be skipped. Okay. Suppose I'll show you one more example. Suppose here the first number is 10 and second number is 34 and third number is 57. So in this case, which is the largest number? 57. Let me explain this one. Here n1 is 10, n2 is 34, n3 is 57. So here first we are verifying whether n1 is greater than n2 and n3. So this condition is failed. If this condition is failed, this if block will be ignored. Okay, then we'll come to the next statement, that is else if. Here we are checking whether n2 is greater than n1 and n3 or not. Here what is the n2? 34. 34 is greater than 10 but 34 is less than 57. So this condition also failed. If this condition also failed, then will not execute, will not enter into this block. So this printf statement will not be executed. Then we'll come to the next statement. So when we will come to this else block, whenever these two statements are failed, right? So if those two statements are failing, means automatically third one is the largest number. So because of this, it is printing 57 is the largest number. Okay. So this is about else if ladder. Now coming to the next statement, nested if statement. So nested if statement means writing the if else block inside the if statement, or writing the if else statement inside the else block. Okay, so writing if statement inside the if statement, or writing the if else statement inside the if statement, writing if else statement inside the else statement is called as nested if statement. Writing one structure inside another structure is called as nested if statement. Okay, suppose while writing if else statement inside the another if statement, if that if statement contains only one statement, no need to write or no need to use braces. Directly you can write that statement. Okay, let me explain the nested if with the diagram. Just see, just assume that here I have written one condition. If this condition is true, I want to check one more condition, right? So if this condition is true, I want to check, I want to execute some statement. If this condition is false, I want to execute some statement. Okay. Suppose if this condition false also, I want to check one more condition. If this condition is false, true block will be executed. If this condition is false, this statement D will be executed. Okay. What we can understand from this diagram is, if this condition is true, we are entering into the if block. Inside the if block, we are writing one more if condition with true or false cases, right? If this condition fails, we'll come to the else block. Again, inside the else block, we are writing one more condition by using if statement with true statement and false statement, right? So from this multiple paths, we will select only one path. If this condition is true, then we'll take this path, we'll check this condition. And if this condition also true, then we'll take this path, we'll execute the statement 1. Then we'll execute, after executing the statement A, we'll come out of that if block. Then we'll execute the next statement after all these if blocks. Okay, so statement X will be executed. Suppose here itself, if your condition fails, then we'll come to the second condition. We'll enter into this inside if loop. Here we'll check the condition again. Again, here the condition fails. Then whatever statements you have written under that else block, that will be executed. Then we'll move to the next statement after all these if conditions will be executed. Let me explain with the syntax how to write nested if else. So here we are writing if block. Inside the if block, we are writing if else block, right? And inside the else block, we are writing one more if else block. So writing if else block inside the if condition or inside the else condition is called as nested if. Okay. See the example, same example. Here I am explaining with nested if else. Okay. Same example, finding the largest of 3 numbers. So here I am asking the user to enter 3 numbers. Whatever numbers the user is entering, that I am storing in N1, N2 and N3. First here I am checking the condition like N1 is greater than or equal to N2 or not. If N1 is greater than N2, then only we will enter into this block. If N1 is not greater than N2, then simply this entire if block will be executed. We will not enter into the if block. So at that time, we'll execute the else block, right? Suppose just assume that here N value is 10 and N2 is 20. Okay, so N1 is not greater than N2, fail. If this is fail, then we'll go to the else block. Again, inside the else block, we have the condition like whether N2 is greater than N3 or not. Here, what is N2? Okay, so if you are coming to the else block means N1, N2 is greater than N1. In that situation only we are coming to the else block. Now no need to check N1 with N3, right? So N2 will be compared with the N3. If N2 is 20, just assume that N3 is 25. Okay, so in that case, N2, this condition fails. If this condition fails, we will not enter into this if block. We will enter into the else block associated with that if block. So we'll print the statement as largest number is N3, that is 25. Right? Suppose if N1 is 40, N2 is 20. Just assume one more example, N1 is 40 and N2 is 20. So in this case, this condition is true. If this condition is true, we'll enter into this if block. Okay. So here N1 is 40, N3. Now that N1 is comparing with N3. Just assume that N3 is 25. Okay. So in this example, N1 is greater than N3. This condition true. If this condition is true, we'll enter the statement in, we'll execute the statement that is written inside the if block. So what statement we have written inside the if block? Largest number is N1. So like this, we'll check the condition. We'll write the if else block inside the if blocks or inside the else blocks. Then that we are calling it as nested if else statements. So by using this nested if else statements, we'll check the multiple conditions. According to that conditions, we'll take the decisions. Okay. So now coming to the next category of selection statement or decision statement, that is switch statement. So here, when we'll go for if statements and when we will go for switch statements is whenever you have small number of options, or if it is a one-way decision statement or two-way decision statement, then we'll use if statements. If there is a multi-way decision statement, okay, so if you can implement a multi-way decision statement using if else if ladder or nested if else statements also. But if you write, if you use nested if else or if else if ladder, definitely at some point of time we may get the confusion. So to avoid that confusion, in C programming language, they have introduced one more multi-way selection statement, that is switch statement. Okay, so in this switch statement allows us to execute one block of code among multiple alternatives. Okay, here we'll have multiple options. From that multiple options, according to our condition, we'll select only one alternative. Okay, so see the simple diagram for this. Here, this is the switch statement. Here we will write the expression or condition, right? So according to this expression, here we have multiple options like case 1, case 2, case 3 like this. So according to this expression, with this expression, which case block will matches, only that case block statements will be executed. Just assume that with that expression, our case 1 is matched. So only case 1 statements will be executed. Then we'll reach the end of the switch statement. Suppose with this expression, case 1 is not matched. So in that case, we'll come to the case 2. If case 2 is also not matched, then we'll come to the case 3. We'll verify whether case 3 is matched or not. If case 3 is matched, whatever statements you have written under case 3 will be executed. Suppose if case 3 is also not matched, then we'll come to the case 4. Okay, so like that we'll come to the last one. If case n is also not matched, then there is a default block. That default block will be executed. After executing the default block, we'll reach to the end statement. Suppose if any of the cases matched here itself, the block that is associated with that case block will be executed, then we'll reach the end of the switch. If all these cases will fail, then default block will be executed. After that, we'll reach the end of the switch case. So this is the simple diagram for switch case. Here we'll have multiple options. From these multiple options, we need to select any one of the option, right? So you can do the same thing with if else, if ladder and the nested if statements also. But the syntax of switch statement is easier to read and write than if else ladder and nested if else ladder, nested if else. Okay, that is the reason why we need to prefer switch statement when you have multiple options. Let us see the syntax of switch statement. Your switch is a keyword, switch followed by the expression, switch followed by the expression. Okay, switch followed by the expression. Based upon the expression, this particular case will be executed. If this expression is matched with first case, statements under first case will be executed. Then we'll end the switch case by writing the break statement. Okay, this break statement is used for coming out of that loop, coming out of that block. Okay, right? Once this is matched, the statements will be executed, then we'll come out of that block and we'll execute the next statements after the switch block. Suppose if this expression is matched with third case, then third case statements will be executed. Then it will be, that block will be breaked with break statement. Then we'll come out of that switch case. Suppose if any of the cases are not matched, then default case will be executed. After this default, will come out of this switch state, right? See one simple example for this switch. Okay, see here, I want to perform operations, arithmetic operations. Okay, plus operation, minus multiplication and division operations. Now I want to read the numbers from the user. I'm asking the user to enter his own option. Either he want to perform addition or multiplication or division or subtraction. If the user wants to perform plus operation, he has to press plus. When he chooses plus operator, the case that is related, that matched with plus will be executed. Okay, suppose if the user selected division operation, then here division operator here, then here it will searches for the case which has division operator. Suppose here the first case is plus operator, so this will not enter into this block. Next, coming to the second case. Second case is for subtraction operation, so this is also not matched. Then it will come to the third case. Third case is for multiplication operator. It is also not matched. So it comes to the next case. Here it is matched. So if it is matched, it will enter into this block. It will print the statement. Then it will break that loop by writing the break statement and will come out of the switch statement. Suppose if the user enters other than these four operators, in that case, default block will be executed. Okay, let me explain this example also. Let me show you this this program output also. Okay, I'm copying the same program here. All right, everything came. Okay, now compile the program, run the program. Successfully compiled. So here it is asking to enter the operator. Now I am entering subtraction operation, minus, right? It is asking to enter the numbers. So I am entering 34 and second operator number as 12. So if it is matched with, if I enter minus, here this switch statement, it will searches for the case which matches minus. So here the first case is for plus, so it is not matched. So it goes to the next case. Here the case is for minus, so this case is matched. So this printf statement will be executed. Because of this, it is displaying the result here on the screen like this, right? Suppose if the user enters, if I enter ampersand sign, okay, so here The user has to enter either plus, minus, star or division. Other than these four symbols, if I enter any other symbol like this, then it will not ask for any number because that is not matched with any of the case. So by default, okay, it will jump to the default block, and the code that is written inside the default block will be executed. Enter the operator only. You should not enter other operators than those four. So it will print the message like that, and it will stop the execution. So this is about switch statement. So what is the final conclusion of this chapter is, so if you want to take any decisions in your program, we need to use decision statements. Here we have if statements and switch statements as a decision statements. So if statements have multiple flavors like simple if, nested if else if, ladder, and if else statements. Okay, and we have if you have multiple options with you, if you want to choose any one of the option from that multiple options, then we need to use switch statement. We can also use if else if, ladder, or nested if statements for multiple selections, but compared to those two, switch statement syntax is little bit easy to understand, right? This is about decision statements or selection statements. So hope you people understood. So in the next session, I'll explain about iterative statements and jump statements. Okay. So thank you one and all.